And we should be live. Hello, hello, hello. I don't think Katz is here anymore, but not Marceline. Tara, Zena, Smokey, Tim, hello. Hello. If I missed someone, I accidentally skipped you. Today goes good. I don't know if anyone else has gotten sick, but last week I was so sick I literally was on the couch the entire week. So I hope no one else gets that. That is awful. Hello. How are you guys doing? Having a good week? Having a good winter? Hopefully it's better than Michigan's crazy butt. Oh my goodness. You guys hear me okay? Today we're going to read. We were going to read this before, but we had run out of time quite a while ago actually. We're going to read Nice Guys from Hell. 49 women share nightmare stories from the friend zone. And if we have time, something else kind of gross, but we'll see if we get there or not. We'll see. See here. I'm going to give everybody a few minutes to get here. I spent all day getting estimates to get my car fixed. That sounds awesome. Not. Ugh. People can really rake you over. Is it a insurance is paying for it situation or a right out of your pocket situation? Hopefully it's an insurance one. Hello, hello, if you're joining me. Hello. We're going to wait a few minutes so people can get here. Thank goodness it's insurance. Yes. Yes. Need a water. How's of course. Holy shit, Smeister, you stayed up late for this. I think last time I live streamed in the mid-afternoon, so I try to alternate it. And I skipped last Monday because I couldn't do anything, literally. You would have heard this in the microphone. And then no reading because I wouldn't be able to concentrate. It's cool. It's my day off anyways. That is what, 1 a.m.? I don't know if I ever stay up late to listen to anything specifically. Like if I'm up at 1 a.m., it's because I'm either really into like a movie or a series I started, or I started a project that I really just want to finish before I go to bed. Those are really the only times I stay up super late. Which it's not uncommon for me to stay up super late to finish something I started. But it has to be something that either, one, I'm really excited to finish, or two, I have to get finished because of ... But normally that's the only reason I'd be up that late. I like sleep too much. But I do like to stay up late and get up early. So, like if I'm up at 1, I'll still be up at 7 or 8 at the latest. Just watched Supernatural till like 4 a.m. when I was first watching the series. I need to start that series. And you know what else I've never watched is Breaking Bad. I feel so dumb for not watching that yet. You can hear my husband in the living room hacking up a lung. Still kind of like lingering. We're not. I'm waiting a few minutes for people to come in to the chat, to the live stream before I start reading. So, first seasons were fire. Of Supernatural or Breaking Bad. Give me a leather jacket taste. I know. No, I have watched it, but it's just like here and there sporadically. It was never like something I remembered was on, especially from the beginning. And now I feel like it's just still, they still make new episodes, correct? Like, I would have no idea what was going on in the show if I tried to start watching it right now. I'd be totally lost. So I have to start from the beginning, which I think they're all on. Hey, Roger. I think they're all on Netflix, right? Yeah, I do. Which I'm afraid, like, if I start watching it, then I'm just gonna be like. But the good thing is you can turn Netflix on pretty much anything and still like get work done. So yeah, might have to start that soon. You have no excuse. No excuse. Nothing. We're just waiting a few more minutes for people to come into the live stream. Tonight we are reading Nice Guys from Hell. 49 women share the nightmare stories from the friend zone. These should be pretty decent. You know, UK has different stuff on there. Like, hey, Paul. Good evening. I was really excited because Harry Potter was supposed to be on Netflix. February. Yeah, not in America though. Not on the American version of Netflix, which is so shitty. So, congratulations to everyone outside of the US who has Netflix and gets to see all of the Harry Potters without having to actually buy all of the Harry Potters. Boo. It's so mean. Why would they do that? Just have it all together. Man. Anyone have any exciting news to share before we get started? I think we'll start at like just a few more minutes here. Just gonna gauge it to see. UK Netflix is weird, full of B movies. That's how Netflix used to be for a long time. Like when it first came out, it was really great. The only thing was if you wanted to see something really new, you had to get like the actual physical DVD. And that was okay. But it seemed like for a long time after I first got it, it was filled with B movies, and then they got better and better. But the thing is now like if Disney has their own live streaming or like Universal does or etc., if they get their own streaming services, then they'll take back other shows and movies and put them on their own thing. Which personally, I don't want to pay for Netflix and Disney and Universal. Dot dot dot. I don't know anyone who does. That just seems crazy. Blockbuster? Gotta make everyone feel old. Amazon Prime, and it sucks. They have some good shows. I just started that Jack Ryan series. Longest time I didn't know Lake Placid had something. Me either. I thought there was one Lake Placid and that was it. Nope. They just kept going with it, didn't they? I like Amazon because there's a few movies like in there that I couldn't find digital copy in a time. So I have like a small library of movies that I like. I watched the Pride and Prejudice version with Keira Knightley. I've watched that I don't even know how many times. If I don't feel good, I'll put it on and just fall asleep to it. So many times. First was classic, next were meh. Blockbuster, holy crap. Was Hollywood Video like a nationwide thing or just where I live? I mean, they're all gone anyway. I just wondered if everybody else at one time had a Hollywood Video also. I miss video stores. We had like was it last year? It was actually a few years ago, but it went out last year. But in our area, somebody brought back an actual video store, like where you could rent DVDs again. It just didn't last. Like I don't know if they were charging too much or people didn't return the DVDs or it seemed like people were going to it, but oh really? Huh. Interesting, interesting. Just a few more minutes and we'll get started here. I think it's probably like a good time to start. You guys think so? Thumbs up to starting? I mean, I did share it hours ago to make sure everybody would have like enough reminders, but my husband said he didn't get a notification that there was a live stream. So, did you guys get one? Did you see Austin Land? Very funny. No, what's Austin Land? And that's on Amazon Prime. I'll have to watch that. I actually have a pen and paper right next to me today, so I can take notes. So often I take notes and then I can't find the notes again, but this is an actual notebook that I keep in my like little laptop desk thingy. So I'm like in my bed with my laptop desk and with a pen and paper. Hey, damn gypsy. We are getting started right now. Jane Austen. Oh, Pride and Prejudice. Yeah. Austen Land. Oh, huh. I'll have to look at that. All right. We are starting Nice Guys from Hell. 49 women share nightmare stories from the friend zone. These could suck. These could be funny. We're going to find out together. So, number 1. He was pissed that I wasn't dating him, so he told everyone I had AIDS. I went to a pretty small college in northern Colorado. I was going to say Carolina, but oh my God. So my freshman year, I befriended a nice guy named R. R ended up pledging with a fraternity. I went on a couple of dates with a guy from R's frat. I thought things were going well. Then the guy I dated just stopped responding to me. Bunch of other people involved in the Greek community and lots of people in my dorm started giving me funny looks or conversations would end as soon as I came in the room. Apparently, he was pissed that I wasn't dating him, so he told everyone I had AIDS. I ended up transferring schools because of that guy. Wow, nice guy. Oh, that's just beautiful. I bet everyone's had an experience with a nice guy. And I'm using my quote fingers like you guys can see it. Yeah. Like even if someone did have AIDS, and there's medication that can make it almost completely reverses the effects now. You're more likely to die of hepatitis than of AIDS now, so or if things keep going this way, then it'll be measles or something stupid that's been gone for years. Yeah. It didn't say what year it was. I'm guessing this was like when it was very stigmatized still. Now I think the stigma would be more on the guy than the person, than the other girl that he was talking bad about. Anyway. Oh, number 2. He broke into my house to steal my medication and left a note saying that he hoped me being off of it would make me kill myself. Oh my God. Was friends with a guy for years. Then he asked me out while I was in a relationship. It wouldn't have been so bad if he hadn't reacted to me saying no by going on a tirade about how ungrateful I was because he'd been my friend for so long. And he'd been so nice to me. And no one else would have stuck around me when I was so crazy. He finished up by breaking in a few days later to steal my medication and left a note saying that he hoped me being off it made me kill myself. What a fucking dick. Wow. Nice guy. Durex just took a nosedive. What's Durex? Are you talking about stocks? Or condoms? I don't know. I'm lost. I have to come back and check the chat. Number 3. 3 years later, still shows up to my places of work. So, dude, I dated a guy for a while. Always complained when we first started going out about how girls always screwed him over. Nice guys finished last, etc., etc. He told me his stories and I felt so sorry for him. After a few months together, he turned out to be the most possessive, irrational person I've ever encountered. I couldn't hang out with my friends, not even girlfriends. He flipped out on me for hanging out with my brother and giving him a hug. What the fuck? I finally dumped him when I got my first teeny tiny tattoo and he slut shamed me for a few days straight. He told me how if I chose to be a pierced and tatted person, I had plugs and nose piercings when he met me, that I was choosing a promiscuous life, and he finds that to be the most unattractive thing in the world. Yeah, okay, buddy. Bye-bye. 3 years later, he still shows up to my places of work. He showed up at my current job 2 days after I started working there. Okay, stalker. Wow. So if anyone's listening to this and you do any of this shit, you aren't a good person. It's just this is a giant red flag for you to just open your eyes to your own behavior that you're not a nice person. All right, who's new here? Gibby Lanes. Hello. Good day. Good day, Gibby. I don't know if you've been here before, but I've often talked about how Australian accents, like something I wish I could master. I cannot master Russian. We've been over this. I've had horrible comments about it on my Russian stories. Uh, I think that Australians are some hardcore badasses just from all the stuff I've read about Australia and everything that goes on there, just the natural, just living there. Like, you literally have like bird day where birds like dive at you. Am I right? I don't know. I'll come back. Number 4. We are reading, if you're new here, Nice Guys from Hell. 49 women share nightmare stories from the friend zone. Number 4. He just drops my crutches on the floor and walks away. A random guy held my crutches for me as I walked down some stairs at uni. He seemed nice and joked about how he once broke a foot. It'll get better, etc., etc. We get to the bottom, and he asks if we could get some coffee. I thank him, but I tell him I'm seeing someone, so he just drops my crutches on the floor and walks away. What? Again, if this is something that you do or see someone doing, that's not being a nice guy. That's being a douche. And I'm sure there's women that do the same thing as a shit, so. Um, oh, now I feel stupid, Gibby. I'm not Aussie, just like saying that. Good day, mate. Good day, mate. That just reminds me of Dumb and Dumber now. PETA doesn't think so, apparently. F that. Can't wait for a rainy thunderstorm. The crutches sounds like a skit you saw once. Now, I might be able to talk and breathe and everything now, but I feel like my brain isn't 100% back from my cold, so you'll have to forgive me if I feel like I forgot what I just said 2 seconds ago. So sorry. If you're just joining us, we're reading 49 guys. 49 stories. Okay, Nice Guys from Hell. 49 women share nightmare stories from the friend zone, and this is number 5. Emails would generally go like paragraph about how I'm a whore, paragraph about how nice he is, paragraph about how lonely he is. Now, uh, the first 2 things are why the last 2 thing exists. The last thing exists there. So he harassed me for 6 months after we stopped talking. Was very verbally abusive, called me every gendered slur in the book, and kept making new email accounts as I blocked them to inform me he was a nice guy and asking me to help him find a girlfriend because nice guys deserve girlfriends. The emails would generally go like how I was a whore, how nice he was, about how lonely he was. I've never really told anyone about what happened, and it feels healthy to get it off my chest. The whole thing reeks of 4chan, obviously. As long as I'm oversharing, he also posted a revealing picture I sent online. Oh, no. Yeah, don't do that. Don't ever send nudes. So if Sony breaks up with you, you are so screwed. Oh. Oh, you haven't? I actually have some on my channel from the stalker's point of view. I'll have to go back and find it. I've done so many videos. I think I've lost track of what I've done. For real. I've got videos from, yeah, some messed up points of view. It's a British comedy skit. Good day, mate. Oh, goodness. Number 6. I've always been a tomboy and grew up with a lot of male friends. Since reaching adulthood, I've also grown some breasts. This combination of things has led to most of my best guy friends asking me if they could finally see my tits, since we've been friends for so long, and subsequently vanishing when I said no. It's depressing enough when I realize that a guy I'm into just wants to bang, but it really hurts when the guys I thought were actual human beings, with whom I developed deep, multi year friendships, were just sexually frustrated animals. So, yeah, I've got trust issues now. Okay, these are depressing the fuck out of me, so these better get good soon. Either get scary or funny. Goodness gracious. I'll actually look for that damn gypsy. At the top of my head right now, I can't, but I know that I've done a story from the stalker's point of view. Now that I'm thinking about it, I wonder if it was on Unit's channel. Why is that ringing a bell? If that rings a bell to anybody, God, please share it because I'm drawing a blank. Number 7. I called the cops and now I have a restraining order against him. So pretended to be interested in me. We developed a great friendship, 3 strong years at the time. Then I met my future husband. He noticed that I had never been so interested and in love with someone. He would comment sarcastically on our pictures on Facebook. He then confessed his love for me and begs me to leave him by saying that he has to put up with my shit. He's put up with my shit for so long. In my defense, he never showed romantic interest. Oh, you don't have to defend yourself, honey. He lived in Texas. He drove all the way to California to bombard me at 3 a.m., threatening to kill himself if I don't ever love him back. Threatened to hurt my husband, etc. Called the cops, and now I have a restraining order against him. Wow, is everybody getting depressed with listening to these, or is it just me? Dun, dun, dun. Should I read him with an accent? I'm in the mitten state here, but I think most everybody else is not. Did you poop today? That's a dilemma I have with my body daily. I did. It's a proud moment. Yep, damn Gypsy's in the mitten too. I didn't want to give you away, Gypsy, if you don't want to say. Are you a Dr. Dickey? Dr. Dickey's in the house. Hey. Actually, we're reading stories right now. If you want to contribute a link to stories about poop, then we'll gladly. Dickey, are you over the age of 18? So I'm thinking you might not be. What? Okay. So everybody here is adults, and I don't think they want to talk about poop. So if you would like to be an adult in here, then that's great. Yeah. I can send you some poop in the mail and you could take a good look at it under the microscope. But for now, we're going to talk about nice guys from hell. Oh, look at this one. Number 8. All he did was talk about poop the whole time. Just joking. Number 8. It's very short, but it says the one time he tried running me over with the truck while I was on holiday. It's not very detailed, so wah wah. We're giving it a 0 on the wah wah scale. I went to an extremely conservative and small college. Our freshman class was pretty tiny, as in you would know everyone by name in your class. There's a guy I met the first day of class, and he seemed nice. Nothing out of the ordinary. 2 days later, he texts me. I never gave him my number, and the only person who had my number was my roommate, and she swears she never gave him my number. Cue the constant messages asking me how my day was, if I wanted to meet up or hang out. I politely told him that I didn't want to date anyone at the moment and I was focused on school. And he did not give up for 5 years. He messaged me with different numbers, emails, sent me letters, would threaten every single guy who would talk to me. The worst part was when I learned that he and his frat buddies had announced to everyone in the first week of freshman year that I was his girl and I was off the market. Pretty much ruined my college experience in terms of having a social life. Yeah, I bet. Awesome. Ooh, the next one says I beat the shit out of him, so that should be fun. Um, um, yeah, Dickie, you're gonna have to stop. Nino Pisano, hello. Hello, Gling. Hey. Dickie, you're going to get blocked. So this is my last polite attempt. Adult conversation in the chat, or you will have to go, buddy. Okay? Last chance. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Say that you'll act like an adult, or I am getting you out of here. All right, we're going to move on. That was your last chance, Dickie. Number 10. I knew a guy in college that took the fact that I was sexual with some other men to indicate that I wanted to be so with him. I let him know on certain terms that I didn't like him, was not attracted to him, didn't want to fuck him, or be in any sort of relationship. He kept sticking his toe over that line, though, not enough to warrant a major response, but still pushing it. So one night at a party, he tackled me onto a bed, started groping me, trying to take my clothes off, etc. For you unaware, that means he was trying to rape her, because you don't take someone's clothes off without their permission. Okay. I'm not sure what he was thinking, given the differences in our sizes and temperament. So I beat the shit out of him. Due to the pain I've seen sexual assault cause some of my very close friends in the past, and the greater than average dislike of rapists I have as a result, I likely went way too far, at least from a legal point of view. However, that ended the problem. Wow. Okay, so that one was dark. These are, I mean, obviously, they say they're from hell, so you guys let me know if you want me to keep reading these or not. Khalees, hello. Choice buck-eyed buttern kind of scares me now. Oh no, that's all right. We're only on like I think I just did number 10 of 49 stories, so you're good. Okay. We are reading Nice Guys from Hell, 49 Women Share Stories from the Friend Zone. It's going to go down to Let me see the bottom of this right here. Sometimes these stories like keep going. I don't know if it's like the link. Okay. Yeah, if you guys have a link to a scary story, I'll look for one for just a second here. I won't stay on it too long, but I know that I've saved so many. I even have some set aside from when I was going to do a story like a few weeks ago when I um was going to. Um we'll try this one. It's like a paranormal one. But I'll just go down to the bottom and see. I'm still here. Sorry, I was just scanning through some things. Heard about game, but that's beyond game. Oh yeah, I know. That's not even game. That's how to go to prison. I guess if that's the game you're playing, I don't know. I think that there's just And what's weird is most men I know would never even like act that way. Don't get me wrong, I don't want to do a whole story that bashes just men because I know crazy ass women out there that do some stupid shit to guys too. I just happen to see that title. I see some home loan stories, terrifying encounters with the paranormal. Let's take let's open that one. Then Home Alone stories. I think I might have done that before. Um, Black Eyed Kids. I think I've done that one too. Um, let me see, because I don't think you guys really want to hear these nice guys from hell stories anymore. Am I wrong? I think it just depends. Um, I think there's equally horrible people in the world. I'll just say it that way. I don't know if there's women are just a little more sneaky about it. Yeah. Hello. Hello, tall guy, 32. Tall 32 guy or whatever. Let me see here. We were reading Nice Guys from Hell, but I think it was bringing everybody down. So we're going to take a gander at some paranormal stories. I want to see if I've already read these because I actually don't know. I'm just going to let me read this first one and you guys tell me if I've already read these because I think you'll know before I do, okay? This one is scary home alone stories that remind you to double lock your front door. So this is the first one. It says, one night when I was about 12 or 13, my parents were gone for a while and I was just staying up really late, past midnight, on my desktop computer waiting for them to come home. So like most people, I've been told a million times not to talk to strangers on the internet. But about half my friends list on MSN were people were. So I was just chatting with a bunch of them. Out of nowhere, one of my online friends had told me exactly what I had been doing for the past hour or two, what I was eating, drinking, playing with when I had gotten up last. Things I hadn't mentioned in the chat. I instantly got a horrible feeling in the pit of my stomach. My desktop was set up right in front of a big window. So as far as I knew, this person I had been talking to that was supposed to live in a different country than me had found my address and had been watching me through the window. Turns out he had somehow hacked into my webcam. I always left it plugged in, even though I had been warned not to when I wasn't using it, and had been frequently watching me through it whenever he wanted. It's been 10 years, and I still have all the cameras on my devices covered in thick duct tape. Holy shit. Have we read those before, you guys? Ooh. Yeah, how tall are you, tall guy? Must be pretty tall if you call yourself tall guy. It's probably the African drug lord. Damn, Gypsy. That came out of left field. I'm gonna save that one for another time, but I'll turn that one off. Over 6'5". Wow. Yes, I've heard of that happening a lot too. It's a really good idea to keep. I don't have tape over mine right now, but I can put a sticker over it. But yeah, it's a really good idea to keep your cameras covered with something. 6'6". There was a girl that I knew in high school that went out with a guy who was 7'1". And I had never met anyone that tall before in my whole life. So for a long time, that was the tallest person I had ever seen. Wow. All right. So no one's heard the Home Alone story I just read, right? Would you rather hear that than the other ones? Let me see a hand vote. You guys want the stories we were reading or the Home Alone stories? Let me see a vote here. I'll wait a minute because I know that there's a delay. New ones? Yeah. 6-7 or 6-8. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Home Alone it is. I was going to glance at these black-eyed children stories and see if these are the ones I've read, but they're really long. So if I have read them, I've read them for my channel and not for for like a video. Okay. Number 2 is kind of short, but it says, I was about 8 and I was taking the trash outside after the sun went down when a hand reached from the side of our back deck and grabbed my leg trying to yank me. I screamed, they let go, and I ran inside. There was no follow-up. You didn't go outside and look? You didn't send your dad outside or brother or shit. You okay in there? Yep. No follow-up. Any story. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Number 3. So I was a kid around 10 or so, and I was babysitting my 7-year-old sister. Sounds like my life. We grew up near an insane asylum, and every now and then we'd get an escapee in our yard. They'd walk off the grounds and head through the woods toward the nearest town. They'd get about a mile to our place and realize walking 40 miles to that town was probably not going to happen. So they'd ask us to use the phone to call and get picked up by the hospital. This happened every now and then. But this was the first time it happened when I was home without my parents. The woman who arrived in our doorway wanted me to call the hospital to pick her up. But she also asked me if I had some matches, presumably to light a cigarette. I ushered my sister into the house, locked the door as I called. The woman was kind of half screaming, half moaning, "Matches! I need matches!" until they came and picked her up. I'm sure it was just for a cigarette, but it also could have been to burn us alive, so I didn't give her any. What the fuck is? And what kind of an asylum has people just roaming the grounds like that? Oh, oh yeah. Okay, I remember that kind of the cursed voodoo eggs. That was pretty funny. I've never heard of that. I'm not trying to I don't want to get cursed by anyone that does voodoo for laughing at that. I had just never heard of that, and I didn't even know that was a thing that actually exists. So, like, if you're someone who does voodoo and stumbles onto this, God, please don't curse me. I've had a really hard go of it, so I could really use some good luck. God. I used to live near a mental institute. I hear the screams every afternoon, 12 to 4. Oh, that's terrible. Also met a guy in a hospital gown while walking home. I thought the zombie apocalypse was on. Oh my god. Voodoo eggs. That's crazy. Okay. Number 4. I had just moved into my first apartment. It was around 8:30 p.m. and I heard the doorknob moving like someone was putting a key in it and turning and knocking. At first I got really excited that my then boyfriend was home, but then realized it was only 8:30 and he wasn't due home from work until around 10:30. So I looked out the kitchen window, didn't see his car or anyone's car I had known parked outside. And that's when I panicked. The doorknob kept moving for a few more seconds and then stopped. A few minutes later, they had some piece of metal they were sticking between the door trying to open the door. I freaked out at that point and locked myself in the bathroom with a knife and called 911. They tried to pry the door open for about 3 minutes before they stopped. The police surveyed the area and found an elderly man roaming around with a knife and a crowbar. He used to live in that apartment and he wanted his stuff back that we stole when we moved in. I was told he was very delusional. I'm very thankful I didn't answer the door once I realized it was no one I knew. To this day, my heart stops when someone knocks on my door. Like, he wasn't even knocking though, was he? Maybe he was, but oh my gosh. Was he gonna stab her? Crazy old man. The fuck? Poaching Durex file. What? The voodoo eggs. The voodoo eggs file. I wish someone would write a story on voodoo eggs. Wouldn't that be an amazing story? I can only imagine where that story would go. Speaking of stories, Schmeister has written not just part 2 to his winning story from the story contest, but also a part 3 that I am very much looking forward to narrating and getting up as soon as I can. I'm very excited about that. So just letting you guys all know that he's been working his butt off. He's very critical of himself when it comes to writing, but he doesn't need to be. So cannot wait to put those up. All right, number 5. So this took place in my backyard when I was a kid. My mom had made a tree swing by putting a large log across 2 trees that were split at the top in Y shapes. A rope hung down from the middle of the log, and there was a little wooden slab to sit on and swing. I was out there swinging away when suddenly, before I knew what had happened, I was pulled backward and found myself laying in the dirt. I looked up just in time to watch the log that was holding the swing split and come crashing down. I had used this swing a billion times, and where I landed wasn't even reachable at maximum swinging capacity. I looked up and no one was around, but the feeling of being pulled back is permanently logged in my brain. What? That was like a paranormal story. That wasn't even like a Home Alone story. Somebody got it confused with another article. Thought catalog. Oh, this microphone I'm using right now is just like a headset. It's a cheapy headset. But I use a totally different microphone when I'm narrating. I wouldn't call anything that I'm doing right now good sound quality. It sounds like, to me, my voice sounds like this right now because I'm getting over a cold. Oh, that's so nice. Xena, chat princess warrior, or whatever. You know what I mean. Number 6. I live in a cul-de-sac. My bedroom is on the 2nd story, so I woke up one night around 3 a.m. to go to the bathroom. I knew we were expecting a lot of snow. I looked out the bedroom window to see the accumulation. It was deep, higher than the curb, like a white blanket across the cul-de-sac. I decided to get some water, so I walked downstairs, turned on the light room, and got my water. I was downstairs maybe 4 minutes. Went back to my bedroom. All lights were out again, and I looked out at the snow one more time. Within those 4 minutes, there were now fresh footsteps leading from my house across the cul-de-sac and disappearing behind my neighbor's house. Holy shit. Holy shit. What? I'll just read number 7 really quick because it's one sentence, but it says, once I was alone watching TV and the door behind me closed and locked. What? That sounds paranormal also. What type of footprints though? Right. I know. Like, were they deer footprints? Was it a dog? Well, thank you. Thank you, Gibby. Number 8. I lived out in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by woods and corn and wheat fields. So I was home alone one night and decided to step out on the porch for a cigarette. I'm about halfway done, take another drag, and when I blow out the smoke, it rolls around a face about a foot away from me. Needless to say, I and noped back inside and locked the doors. What? So like a ghost face? This is even paranormal. What? Sorry, I just yawned in the microphone. I'm so sorry. It was unavoidable. That's crazy. Ghost face. Number 9. House sitting, babysitting for a new neighbor. She was a single mom from the East Coast, moved to Indianapolis. Indianapolis. I was a 6th grader. All I had to do was sit in the house, do my math work while she was on a date. Her 2-year-old baby was sleeping in his crib. It was around 9. I get a call and answer. It's some man who only asks, "Who are you?" I tell him I'm the babysitter. Then he starts asking all these questions about where the mom is and who I am personally. I get scared and hang up and call the mom and let her know. The guy calls back and then just starts saying the address I'm at. Then asks if the baby is okay. When I say yes, he says, "How can you be so sure when he's that close to a window?" To which I just say, "I'm just the babysitter and I'm trying really hard on my math homework, and now I'm scared and I'm also failing math." So basically, a mental breakdown happened. 5 minutes later, the mom shows up and explains it's her ex-husband who found her. She hands me a wad of cash and excuses me. And I don't know if the guy was in the bushes or calling from Massachusetts or what. It was scary. I'm in math class and I'm failing math. So, long story short, also don't have a 12-year-old. Watch your 2-year-old and you have a psycho ex who's tracking you across the country. Wow. My ex busted through my bedroom window and stabbed me before he passed out. Wow. I feel like Xena can have her own book. Yeah, for sure. Xena has a story too, but I don't know how much of it she wants me to share because I think that's still like debatable and she's still working on it, right, Xena? Let's see. Number 10. I was lying on the chair with my eyes closed, but I wasn't really asleep. And I heard a woman whisper my name in my ear and she told me that I had to get up now. And I swear I could feel her breath as she talked. I got up and there was no one there. Okay, that one, again, paranormal for sure. Hot diggity dog. Number 11. I was asleep in the living room on my day off when a Suburban came crashing through the kitchen. Dude was drunk and high. Had taken his grandfather's Suburban and left a trail of destruction through the neighborhood for 2 blocks. 10 plus vehicles hit my house, 2 mailboxes, tore up multiple yards until his SUV was disabled from hitting a Camry. Police ended up busting the window and dragging him out half naked. Like, what? Where does the insurance start with that guy? Like, what disaster do you cover first? I'm thinking the house he crashed into. But, like, what insurance company is ever going to pay for 10 plus vehicles that you crashed into, plus a house? Nationwide is not going to be on your side at all. Nationwide is going to drop you like a hot fucking potato. Isn't there a song that has hot diggity dog in it? Am I like that delusional? Oh my god. I know 10 cars. What the fuck? You'd have been so shit faced. 10 cars? After the first one, you'd be like, oops, I probably should pull over. Nationwide is gonna say fuck no. Number 12. In fall of 2016, I moved into half of a really old house. It was built in the 1800s, a stone's throw from the original campus of Indiana University, which is now a park filled with homeless people and drug addicts. What a beautiful picture they painted. Anyway, the owners basically turned it into a weird duplex. My friend lived in it right before I moved in, and he claimed that it was haunted. But I didn't really believe him because he was a bit of an odd guy. Okay, again, these are just Home Alone stories, so I don't know why there's so many paranormal ones. Anyway, the layout of the house was weird. You walk in the door, and there was a living room type space, and then you kept walking, and there was a doorway to a bedroom, and past that was a kitchen. No doors. Only door inside the apartment was the door to the bathroom and one that led to the shared basement. Ooh. So my first night there was uneventful. A little uncomfortable because I hadn't lived by myself in a long time. It was just feeling lonely and on the edge. I stayed up late, eventually fell asleep, but I woke up again around 3 in the morning. Cliche, I know. What woke me up was what sounded like a group of drummers were drumming on every flat surface of the living room. It went on for a while, and I was completely terrified. It was just a cacophony of sound. After about 2 or 3 minutes, I finally gathered up the balls, excuse me, to get up and check on it. And as soon as I passed the threshold to the living room, it stopped. Nothing happened the rest of the night, but I didn't get much sleep. A couple days later, a friend was visiting and he was about to leave. We were standing by the front door next to my bookshelf, and I told him about how I was having trouble sleeping and the story from the first night. And as I was saying this, a book threw itself off the bookshelf and onto the floor, 3 feet away. It had to fly past the dresser the shelf was perched on and landed between the two of us. He just gave me a creeped out look, said he had to go, and I didn't blame him. Eventually, I asked the guy in the other half what was up, as he had lived there for 8 years. He told me that no one stayed longer than a year, and they all reported the same shit. And for whatever reason, he said nothing ever happened on his side. It doesn't make sense, but there it is. That's weird. That's crazy. The Night Watchman. Shared basement doesn't sound like it. No, that sounds like a horrible idea. Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. Oh my god. Number 13. This is my sister's story. We laugh about it now because it's crazy how our parents brushed off how serious this was in hindsight. So, um, she had gotten home from high school and was all alone. Some guys came and where I live, you do occasionally get people knocking on, and it will either be like Jehovah's Witnesses or people saying they're raising funds for a recovery program they're in, lying about being in, or people selling stuff, that sort of thing. So she couldn't be arsed, so she just ignored them as she sat in the living room. After a moment of silence, she hears a bang on the garage door rolling up. She runs to the garage and screams as she sees the two guys inside. They had been scoping out houses looking for empty ones to rob. The guys luckily had just grabbed the 2 bikes in the garage and booked it. My mom mostly complained about the stolen bikes when she got home, but hey, way better that they took those rusty old bikes and ransacked the whole house or did something to my sister. And to this day, that's why I go to the door when people tap at the gate. I tell them no thank you, not right now, and have them know that the house isn't empty, just in case somebody's scoping it out. Wow. That would be kind of scary, though. Get some sage. Sounds like she needs to do a house cleaning. Oh, yeah. Goofy dancing like a squid. Number 14. When I was about 13, I spent the night over at my cousin's house. We were home alone for the night and stayed up playing video games. I remember he left the room to use the bathroom. I must have been playing something good because I was sitting on the edge of the bed, close up to the TV. As I played by myself, I felt my cousins come back in the room. from behind me, and he laid back down on the bed. Gave me a little bounce as if he had jumped on, bed squeak and all. When I turned back to talk to him, he wasn't there. He was still in the bathroom. I looked down on the bed where I thought I had felt him, and there was an imprint on the bed coming back up, like if someone had been there and they were just coming up off of it. I have a lot more stories about the house, but that's definitely one time I felt the most shaken. Oh, that's crazy. Of course, no one's going to get a picture of that one. Dang it. Dang it. Number 15. A couple of years ago, I was home alone. Husband traveling out of the state. Put on the news on the Samsung smart TV in the living room. Set the remote on the coffee table. Went into the kitchen. Next room over to make dinner. After a few minutes, I noticed I don't hear the sound of the news anymore. And I thought maybe the signal went out or the TV timed out and shut itself off. Mine does that all the time, and I hate that. Come back into the living room. TV screen is showing a picture of a couch in a living room. My living room. Takes me a minute to realize the camera in my TV has been activated, and it's showing a live video of the room. The remotes were still on the table, so no chance the dog accidentally stepped on them and pushed buttons or anything. A few days later, news broke that Samsung smart TVs had a hacking issue. Guess the real mystery is how often I was spied on before I put tape over the camera. Whoa! Has that happened to anybody else? Has your camera and your TV? Oh my God. That's one I've never heard of before. Weird how spirits can consume, affect physical, and put weight on stuff like that. Yeah, I know. Crazy. It is crazy. That's why it's called paranormal, because it's not normal. And there's not really there's no actual explanation for it, because how can they do that? They that would take so much energy. I would think that that would be more like residual, where something's just constantly replaying. They're not interacting with people. That's just like an imprint from the place. But that's just going way into paranormal stuff. Anyway, firecrackers, loots, and lots of firecrackers. Well, I was kind of mad because I was mad at us because we didn't get the smart TV last year, and our TV died, so we had to go get a new TV. And we were like, well, should we pay the extra $50 to have the smart TV or just whatever? And we didn't. I'm like, man, why didn't we just do that? Now I'm glad we didn't. Oh yeah, I do have water here. Yeah, what you just said now. Yeah, residual. Yeah, where it's like a recording of the area. It's just kind of like imprint. G5 is very bad. What's that? Smartphones. Oh yeah, there's all kinds of evidence of smartphones doing that. So let's get back. As someone said, wet my whistle. I've got water right here. So plus there's like the other effects of the cold that still, I don't know about you guys, but like usually if I get sick, it's like a day at most. I don't remember the last time I was sick for an entire week before. Like maybe when I was a kid. Siri will start talking to me even when my phone is in sleep mode. I've noticed my phone a lot in the last week. Like Google will just be like, how can I help you? And I literally was just sitting there, not saying anything. I hate it. Terrible. Just terrible. So wrong. Excuse me. Number 16. I was watching a horror movie, can't remember what one now, but it was in a scene with lots of crows dying around a farmhouse, flying at the windows, smacking into them, and guess what the hell happened? A damn bird smacked into the window during that movie scene, and I almost shit my pants and was covered in goosebumps. Has that ever happened? Like, you're watching a scary movie and the phone's ringing, and then all of a sudden, like, your phone rings and you about die? Oh my gosh. I don't know if I've probably told you guys this before, but like I was watching someone's baby and and while I was watching someone's baby, it was like a stormy kind of day, but it was daytime. And I was watching shoot, it was a ghost show. Um the girl that was the it wasn't like a ghost hunting show, but it was like a what the heck was her name? Anyways, she was investigating this thing where like a someone was kind of like haunting a baby. And then when she went to the house to investigate it, like the power went out at the house and she fell down the stairs. And right in that part, right when that part happened, the power went out at the house I was at, and I couldn't breathe for a good 45 seconds. I was so freaked out because it was so coincidental. I was talking to my cat, and Siri answered me. Oh, that's creepy. That's creepy. Yeah. Yeah. Number 17. It was January in Minnesota. There was about a foot of snow on the ground, and my parents were out at a bar, and my brother was at a friend's house. But we'll come back later. I was in my living room watching TV, and I heard a small knocking coming from the basement. So I walked down to investigate all over the basement to find nothing. Not thinking much of it, I walked back upstairs to the living room to continue watching TV. 5 minutes later, I hear a loud crash come from the basement and what sounded like a door opening. At this point, I was pretty worried. I started to make my way down the stairs, terrified, and as I went down, I thought maybe my brother was home without me knowing, so I called his name. Nothing. I called again. Nothing. So I kept slowly moving down the stairs, only to find that there were drawers open and desks, boxes opened, a few plastic bins and containers all knocked down and tipped over, but worst of all, my back glass door wide open with footprints leading out the door. I shut it, called my parents, and when they came, my mom called the police while my dad followed them. According to him, they went over the fence into the road behind my house where they stopped. My guess is he was picked up. But we and the police never found out if it was planned or just a random house they picked to rob. Absolutely terrifying. What? So where was the person hiding when he went down the stairs? Like, he's so lucky they didn't hurt him. Don't go in the basement. I don't know how you guys are, but I'm one of those people that immediately my first reaction is to pick a bat, and we have several in our house, and to go investigate the noise. I'm just looking for a reason to get out some aggression at something. I need a good swing at somebody who deserves it. If you're going to enter some creepy area like that, you want a SWAT style with a flashbang. Yeah, no shit. Oh my god. No. 18. When I was a kid, my parents first started letting me stay at home by myself without a babysitter. The large stereo we had in the finished part of our basement just turns on and starts blasting music. It was after midnight. The music was insanely loud, so there was no ignoring it. So 8 or 9-year-old me, wait a minute, first started letting you stay home by 9? Probably for short periods of time, right? Anyway, what am I saying? I was all by myself at that time anyway. So 8 or 9-year-old me had to go down into the basement and turn it off. Everything you're not supposed to do in a horror movie, I did. And I survived. But every damn light in the house stayed on until my parents got home later that night. I still don't know why it turned on, but I messed around with it a lot, so I must have turned on some sort of alarm or timer or something earlier that day. And that's what I'm choosing to believe. Holy shit. That would be terrifying. Of course, it could have been one of the parents screwing with them, or could have been any number of things. Accidentally went way far ahead here. 19. Okay, I went way, way far ahead. Okay, there we go. Don't you hate when you accidentally push a button, push a button, and screw up your groove? Anna Richardson, I have a metal baton in my room. Yeah, always have a weapon at your ready. Yep. Going yelling, preach! Oh, hey, better, swing, better. Take my stick with me. Yeah, it's probably good practice to do that. I have a really hard time seeing in the dark now that everyone knows that. I got knives. That reminds me of a movie. I don't know why that just reminded me of something from like one of the dumb girls says, I got bangs. I don't know why that just reminded me of that. Sorry. Anyway, number 19. I was watching TV on the couch with the dog around noon or so. Suddenly she perks up. The hair on her back stands on end, and she begins snarling at the corner of the room. This dog, who was a previous abuse victim and scared of her own shadow, hesitant to ever bark or attack, was in a position to lunge. When I hear clear, defined footsteps walk from my roommate's room across the hall, no one is there, but I'm looking directly at the source of the sound. The dog is on the defensive, but her tail is tucked between her legs at the same time. Immediately following this, the room got really cold for a few seconds, and it took her a while to lay back down. Never had any other paranormal experiences in that house, nor in my life. Whoa. That's really freaky. My dog does stuff like that all the time, though, and it scares the shit out of us. She'll be like staring at the door wall to go outside, like someone's standing there, and we'll look and there's no one there. But I swear to God, she sees something. I don't believe in table light, so old. Put my own eyes and I would have scaled. What? As unless you have a cat or dog who moves things around. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, see, it used to be illegal in Michigan to buy like firecrackers any other time of the year besides 4th of July. And now we have like fireworks stores common thing in any like strip mall. So yeah. My dog is a mix of boxer and border collie, but she obviously has a lot of pit in her because she gets mistaken for pit all the time. And she's one of two. Our other dog passed away last May. Like the one that passed was the oldest of the same litter of 8, and the one that's still here was the runt of the 8. And they both have one brown eye, one blue eye, and they're both like brindle and white mixed. They're very cute. You can see them on my Instagram. They're both on my Instagram. You have to go back a little ways. Number 20 is pretty short. It says, all the doors in the apartment slammed shut at the same time. I took a walk around the neighborhood until my roommate got home. And that's the only time it happened? Number 21. It was raining heavily outside, and I was sitting in one of the chairs looking out the window. Then suddenly I heard something walking on the floor above me. I thought it was just a sound my mind was creating because, yeah, I was already scared being all alone at home. So I ignored it. 5 minutes later, I hear someone knock on the window. Thought maybe it was a bird who hit the window or something, but then suddenly this huge floor lamp fell right on me. And I sat there for a solid 10 minutes trying to understand what exactly happened. The lamp was perfectly fine. I still don't understand how it fell. Definitely the creepiest alone moment of my life. It just fell on you? You just stood there and let the lamp just lie on you? You use it as a weapon. Or I guess it's a paranormal story, so I guess it would have been, I don't know. I don't know. Hopefully you guys are um yeah, it's been a while, but thank you. Um Canada, we went in reverse from fireworks stores to now only with a license for special events. Yeah, I wish we would do that here because I tell you what, my it was dogs, but my dog does not like fireworks. And literally for 2 weeks leading up to any kind of holiday, for a while we had neighbors that did this, but they moved. There's another one that's 2 doors down that has tamed down a little bit, but for 2 weeks leading up to 4th of July fireworks, which you're not supposed to do it. You're only supposed to do it the day before, the day of, or the day after. And then 2 weeks after. It's just so annoying. Oh my gosh. If you like fireworks, you know, to each your own, but your neighbors don't fucking love it. If you're a person that does that, your neighbors don't like you. I'm just gonna let you know that. They're just waiting for the time to get you back. Take it from someone who's on that side. Number 22. One time when I was about 8, back when kids were allowed to run free range in our country neighborhood, I came back early from playing with some neighbors and went to sleep on the couch as I was tired from running rampant. My parents thought I was still at the neighbor's house, so they left to go to the store. When I woke up, it was dark and the power had gone out. I climbed off the couch and started calling for my mom when I started hearing noises from the basement, which I never went down to anyways because it scared the shit out of me at that age. It was a scratching noise, like something with claws was dragging against the concrete floor. Naturally, I was scared shitless, so I ran back to the couch, climbed into the hole underneath the cushions and waited until my parents got home. It only took them 20 minutes, but to an 8-year-old scared out of being eaten by some basement monster, it felt like hours. Basement monster. Ah, the 70s and 80s. Don't come to Asia between December. Yeah, Chinese New Year. Is that just Chinese New Year, or is it just a like a multi-national holiday? Yeah, I know it's probably a pretty big deal because they don't do a lot of business during that time. It's almost international now. Yeah. I know that a lot around here too, though, for New Year's, we do a lot of like firecrackers and stuff. So, number 23. I was sitting in our living room watching TV one night, and no one else was home. In the kitchen, we have a refrigerator that has dual doors to open and a lot of decorations all over it, including a small magnetic chime thingy. And so I'm sitting there when I hear the chimes ringing slightly, so I mute the TV and listen, thinking maybe a family member was home. Nothing happened, so I turn the volume back up and keep watching TV. A minute later, I hear what sounds like someone sneezing in our kitchen, and it didn't sound like any of my family's voices. I tensed up and thought someone had broken into our house. I'm shaking at this point, but I'm being quiet and listening. A few moments go by, and I hear the refrigerator doors open and then slam shut so hard I can hear the glass jars inside rattling. So I ran in the kitchen, ready to whoop someone's ass, and there was nothing. Told my family about it, and they said I was just paranoid. But we've had guests come over to the house and say it feels weird in there. Haunted fridge? I don't know. That one was weird. Anyone else have a haunted fridge? Ooh, lucky. Number 24. Now, I've had some woman walk up to my door when I was a kid at midnight and start screaming and knocking on my door. All of the doors were locked, but she eventually just lied down and fell asleep on my porch. What? Where were your parents? Number 25. I was home alone. I was 9 or 10, whichever you are in 5th grade. I was literally the second It was literally the second day my mother allowed me to just walk home from school rather than stay at daycare. Phone rings. Voice on the other end asks for David. I tell them, sorry, wrong number. As a weird but relevant aside, we got constant wrong numbers when I was a kid because our phone line was one digit from H&R Blocks, which is a tax preparation service, in case you guys don't know that. So I had developed a sort of standard cadence to wrong number calls. It almost always went like this. H&R Block? Sorry, wrong number. Oh, I'm sorry. That's okay. So I'm on the line waiting for him to say, oh, I'm sorry. Instead, he starts yelling that he needs to speak to David. He knows David is there. I tell him I have 2 Uncle Davids, but neither are there. The guy starts cursing and ranting in what in hindsight was pretty clearly driven by meth, so I'm already pretty spooked, having never really encountered a fully crazy person in my life. Then he starts describing my house. He starts yelling to me that it's white with brick pillars on the green porch, red doors, and a white dog in the backyard. He concludes the call with, I know you're lying, and I'm going to come get your ass. In the next 30 seconds, I rush to get a knife in the kitchen, call my mom, look frantically out the front of my house. Then there is a banging, kicking at the door. I screamed at a pitch I didn't realize I could, ran into the bathroom, only locking door, and stayed there until my mom got home. When I heard the garage door open and my mom call out for me, I started sobbing and ran out of the bathroom to her with my knife in my hand. And when I got older, I found out from my mom that the Uncle David the guy was looking for was a pretty bad drug addict for years, and that's why I hardly ever saw him. Probably gave someone he owed money a bad address or number. Thanks, Uncle David. Whoa. That's terrible. Am I putting you guys to sleep? Oh my god. The house, Crystal Seacrest. Hello. The house I live in is haunted, disembodied voices and things moving around all night when everyone is in bed. I've had spirits in my freezer before. You want to hear a really sad story? Brace yourself for it. So last year, like one by one, I was replacing stuff in our house because the fridge we had was like something, it was a fridge my husband had gotten from his mom before I met him. And the fridge was probably like 25 years old. And when you walk past it, you could feel the heat coming off it. And we knew that it was like probably just scorching up our electric bill. Like our electric bill's been lower since we replaced that fridge. But um I had forgotten because what the deal is most of the times when you buy a new fridge now, and don't get me wrong, we don't have some fancy fridge. We got a basic fridge because that's what I wanted, but we do have an ice maker, which I love. Anyway, so the deal is when you buy a new fridge, they'll come and haul the old one away for free, which was great, which they did. But what I realized 2 days afterwards was what in I had hidden in the ice compartment of that freezer of that fridge was an entirely full fifth of Jameson. And that, my friends, is the saddest, scariest story you'll hear all night long. It was just gone. An entire fifth of Jameson. Gone. Gone. Oh. It's so sad. Isn't that so sad? Oh my god, it's so sad. Anyways, number 26. Oh, might have to get Kleenex for that. So, was out of ton of business. So I treated myself and ordered in from my favorite restaurant. Delivery guy arrived and insisted he had to come into my place to deliver the food and take payment. Bullshit. I had to loudly refuse this multiple times in the hopes a neighbor would hear me. He kept insisting. Finally got him to process my payment in the hallway, but he was muttering under his breath the whole time. Scared the hell out of me. I double locked the door when he left and sat up all night feeling uneasy. Wish I had reported him to the restaurant, but I was too shaken to think about it. What? Oh my god. So now he has, at some point after this, busted his way into some other person's room so he could take his payment. Ew. Oh no, I know. Yeah. There's a saying where I'm from, drop the rice, but don't drop the booze. I know, I should be ashamed of myself. Oh, with my 2 eyes, anyone hit the whip? Saddest thing ever. What's the saddest thing ever? Oh, the Jameson. I know. I know. Do you know why? Oh, you guys are having your own conversation. Sorry. Anyways, number 27. I was home alone one night in middle school. I was in my room, which is right above our kitchen, watching TV. I had already shut off all the lights downstairs because I was eventually going to fall asleep and didn't want to get yelled at for leaving the lights on. So I'm laying in bed with the family dog, Chesapeake Bay Retriever, was lying next to me when I hear cabinet doors open and shut. It wasn't like they all opened at once and then shut, but more like one after another for a few seconds. I freeze and look at the dog, who at this point was an old lady, who perked up and looked at me. I peek out the window that looks over our driveway, didn't see anything. Now, I didn't think anyone was in the house because while the dog was lazy as fuck, she was a great guard dog and would have responded if the door opened or whatever. So after a few seconds, the dog gets up and starts moving toward the stairs, and I decide to follow, fully confident that if anyone was down there, she would scare them. So I grab my softball bat and my cell phone and follow her downstairs. And as we come downstairs, I notice the lights are on in the kitchen, and I dial 911 because I know I shut the lights off prior to going upstairs. When we get in the kitchen, all the cabinet doors were open, which were obviously not how I left it. That's when I noticed that the door was still locked, so I thought whatever did this was still in the house. So I quickly ran upstairs to my parents' closet and called my parents and told them what was up. They came home and obviously didn't find anyone or any trace of anyone being in the house. And we still don't know why the light was on and the cabinet doors were open. But we had some other paranormal stuff happen like this, so we chalked it up to a household ghost. That's kind of freaky. I don't know. It seemed kind of boring. These seem boring. Oh. Oh, you know what's worse? When you guys are talking about this, people being done on YouTube. Um, there's gonna be another round of demonetization, so just letting you guys know. Any like bad channels, any channels that promote like horror are probably gonna get targeted again. Hopefully not. Um, I'm sure you guys will watch the news where they're talking about some sort of Momo challenge, but basically it's fake news or whatever. But basically those are oddly the channels that have done this or haven't done this or whatever are children's channels. So probably the next round of very closely monitored channels will be children's channels because they're the ones that are responsible for this. But I did see one horror narrator had a comment from some mother that said, "You're the reason why kids can't, like, this is obviously not good for kids, blah, blah, blah." And I'm thinking, what kind of dumbass are you that you just let your kid get on YouTube and just not pay attention to what's going on? You can obviously see by the banners of the channel or the titles of the story what is on the channel or what the stories are about. And YouTube was never created to entertain children. YouTube was created by people who just wanted to fuck around on the internet and by people who were installing and creating how to do things like DIY videos. That's what started YouTube. Hey, Element. Hey. Uh, these headphones die every 5 minutes. Oh no. Oh yeah. So you'll hear that. Yeah. So it'll probably be like kids channels. It'll get nailed this next time. But I mean, I hope any parent that listens to this or anyone who has a friend that's a parent that's clearly expecting a laptop or a iPad to raise their children. If you don't want your kid to see something they shouldn't, number one, don't connect it to the internet. They can play with apps that are totally fine. They don't need to be connected to the internet. Don't give a small child a cell phone. And that's just idiocy. You should be criticized for your parenting skills for that. That's just dumb. You're an idiot if you do that. But also, there are things such as coloring books and actual books and things to do with yourself besides watch a screen. So don't be mad at the things that you think are creating bad things. Be mad at yourself for being too goddamn lazy to sit down with your kids and do something, and don't give me that excuse that you're too fucking tired. And I'm done with my rant now. If you don't like it, sorry. I don't care. There's a lot of people that expect the whole rest of the world to be raising their children while they do nothing. So, yeah, the next adpocalypse will probably hit the kids' channels because of, and I don't know if it'll actually even hit them. I think what they'll probably do is review them a little more carefully than they did the horror channels. I mean, as far as a horror channel, I would definitely avoid any stories that involve kids or words with kids or anything that involves anything to do with playgrounds or anything that would associate your channel or your stories with kids somehow for a while just to see what happens. But YouTube can't afford to run off a bunch more creators because if they do that, they won't have anyone else on YouTube creating videos, and therefore they won't have anyone else coming to YouTube to watch YouTube. They won't have an audience and they won't make money. They don't make enough money off of YouTube TV to completely rely on that. So hopefully they don't shoot themselves in the foot with that crap. Um, that's good. Parents actually stop kids from watching porn and such. Yeah. What are coloring books? They even have adult. I see more adult coloring books than I see kid coloring books now. Wow. I once answered the phone from my mom's boyfriend, and he thought I was her. When he realized this, me was mortified. You can Google it. It's just some weird thing, but it's also like I guess there's like a bunch of kids videos that were showing them how to hang themselves, how to take pills. It was promoting suicide, I guess. Um, but then I also hear that it's not real and then it was made up to try and like take down. So I don't know. But basically, um, yeah. So I have a few apps. I color my phone. My husband does too. He finds it extremely relaxing. I have actual like on my little it's like um like a little like lap desk, and I have like literally markers, colored pencils, and I do have some watercolor paints and some actual sketchbooks on it. Like I literally love that. I like to do I like to be constantly doing something. Yeah, he's addicted to it. Like he'll get lost in it a little. But who doesn't? Probably. It looks like I lost a few people from my rant, but that's okay. Gotta weed them out. Number 28. It was raining pretty hard one night, and I was about to go to bed. Our dog decided to start going nuts, barking at the corner of the family room. We had just moved in, so there wasn't anything in there, but she just kept constantly barking at nothing. So I tried to pull her away, but she wasn't having any of it. She started showing her teeth and snarling, which she never does. I figured there must have been an animal outside, so I turned on the deck lights. The deck is off the family room and peer outside. Nothing. I wasn't going to go outside because of the rain, and I didn't see anything anyway, so I dragged the dog to the bedroom, but she just won't shut up. So I finally decided to get on my shoes and umbrella and walk around the house. Found one of my neighbors curled up along the side of the deck trying to protect himself from the rain. He is disabled and a little slow. He usually goes out for a walk in the neighborhood and he got caught in the rain and couldn't find his house. Oh, and if my dog hadn't gone nuts, he might have been out there all night and who knows what could have happened. That one was sad. Oh. Oh. There goes my uh good humor. I love to see your sketches. Some of mine suck, but I still like to doodle. I want to do a Bob Ross tutorial and see how I do. I've seen tons of people do it. I don't think I want to do it for my channel or anything. I just want to do it for my own. Thomas Kincaids are crazy. They're worth a ton. Poor man. I know. I'm so glad she found him. My gosh. All right. Get back to the story. Blah, blah, blah. Number 29. So 2 years ago, I get home from my last lecture from university before the start of Christmas break. My family had gone to Scotland for the weekend. I'd love to just pop over to Scotland for the weekend. I was all alone at home for the weekend. Once I arrived at home, I showered, was getting food ready. After eating, I turned on my PS4, plugged my headset, began playing. An hour later, I hear loud thudding from upstairs. Rather than being brave and checking upstairs, I ran to close and lock the living room doors to prevent a robber from entering. Hurried to my phone and called the police, who arrived quickly and began searching. After 20 minutes of searching, they found that someone had broken into my house through my bedroom window. Luckily, no valuables had been taken. I did, however, get a 2-hour lecture from my parents on what precautions to take when home alone. This is an adult. Wow. You can watch a ton of his tutorials on YouTube and on Netflix even. He was a very good person. Number 30. Someone scoped up my apartment, charged up my stairs, and started banging on the door, demanding I open it and talk to her. This chick would not give me a name or what she wanted. Finally threatened to call the cops. That's when she runs back down my stairs. And that was it. Wow. Wow. Okay. Yes. And this just leads to like a bunch of creepy stories that are like super long. There's 67 stories just got tell in the dark. Oh no. I wonder if we read this. Uh tell me if you guys have heard this. I'll save it for like next time, but tell me if you've heard this. Um this is paranormal stories. But I thought I've read everything, but I guess I haven't because tell me if you've heard this. So it says, not sure if this is considered paranormal, but when I got fevers as a child, I would always, in my pain infused state, hear a man counting in a very deep voice. He would count from 1 and up. And as the numbers get larger, the voice gets louder and more intense. So like 1, 2, 3, 4. It starts to get less frequent as I grew older, and now I don't experience it at all anymore. I brushed it aside as a reoccurring nightmare until only recently. I've learned that my sister would experience the exact same thing when she was younger as well. It's not the scariest thing, but it does send shivers down my spine trying to comprehend this. That scares me. Can you imagine that? As an adult hearing that? I think that I really want to see like the green roaming hills of Scotland. That's why I really wanted to see it. Where is the Blarney Stone? Is that Scotland? I worked with a guy who actually went there, and which I think you have to be quite a large person to be able to do this, but you lean out. You have to like lean out a window and then reach up to touch the Blarney Stone. But there's no way like somebody my height could do that. I would fall in my death. But hey, what a way to go. How'd she die? She was reaching for the Blarney Stone and she fell short. That's sad. Cheers! Clearly, my head is not that together yet. Yeah, I want to do one of those too. I mean, again, I'm not going to do one for my channel, but yeah. Oh, falling to my death from the Blarney Stone? Oh, I want to see all the rolling hills. There's so many things I really, really want to see, but UK and England and Scotland and I'd like to see Ireland too. But I mean, any kind of seasonal changes you can see here in a matter of a few days. Spring's coming up, so we'll have all 4 seasons again the next couple of weeks. Every time the seasons change here, you get all the seasons back and forth. It's like Mother Nature is having her own personal glitch, and it's like it spazzes back and forth from one to another really, really fast. I have a story for you. One time I heard footsteps on my enclosed locked porch, called the cops to come look. Nobody was there, and I asked them to lock the door. They left. Footsteps again. Oh, that's scary. But then there was like no, they didn't move anything. Wow. That seems to be pretty common. I think that was like 50% of the stories that we read about the Home Alone. They heard footsteps. Yikes. Goodness gracious. Landmine. Schmeister. That's why they call him the Schmeister. For the win. For the cure. I don't know. Does anybody from the UK ever watch the US version of The Office? Or do you only like the UK version of The Office? I'm curious about that. Old building and weird stuff happened a lot. I've been seeing a lot of stuff out of the corner of my eye this past week. And again, when you're sick, you know your mind plays tricks on you. So I don't know if it's that or something else, but I don't know. I think we're gonna wrap it up here just because I can feel myself fading. You guys could probably hear it too. Like I was really amped up when I started this, but oh, is it? Aw. Aw. But there's this when you said that landmine for the win, this TPR scene, I know. When they did the fundraiser for Meredith because she got Michael Scott hit her with his car, but then when she was in there, they discovered that she'd been exposed to rabies several times. And so he did a fundraiser for rabies, and they did this super long intro on the recorder when they were out doing this 3K or 5K walk, which is like 3.5 miles. It's not very long. And at the end of this super long intro, he said, "For the cure." And there already is a cure for rabies, which is why it's so funny. Anyways, one of my favorite scenes ever is it's a Halloween one, and Dwight gets a pumpkin stuck on his head, but it's on his head for like a couple of weeks. He like just lives his life with an actual pumpkin stuck on his head. And that's like, hey, Minister A. It's Elena, right? I want to wait. A. Minister A. Raise your hand if you guys have seen Letterkenny. We are obsessed with that show, Pitter Patter. Pitter Patter, get at her. I don't know if anybody else is gonna watch that, but us. But yeah, Washington State. Did you guys already get your big snowfall there? Washington, that's another place in the U.S. I've not seen that I would like to see, along with California. California. Just hit that whole West Coast. Oh no, I feel the squirrels coming on. We're about to wrap it up too. I had 10 rabies shots before going under the knife. What? Man. You could have an encyclopedia of stories, Zena. Really? They said you guys are supposed to get the biggest snowfall you've had in decades. Of course, that was just hype, eh? Crazy. A lot of people I knew went to Seattle when I was younger. I was always so jealous of them that they got to experience that, but maybe someday I'll get to see it too. A red line was going up my arm to my heart. What? A zombie apocalypse will coming. Aberdeen. I don't know the geography of Washington State very well, so I don't know what's where. I just know it's over there, and I want to go over there on that side of the country and experience it. 'Cause there's so much over there I haven't seen at all. Yeah, but the zombie deer aren't trying to eat people, so it's kind of like I think it's like a combination of the plague and something else. Yeah, gotta go listen to the song, sing that's stuck in my head. What's the song that's stuck in your head? I had a song stuck in my head yesterday, and I can't remember it right now, thank God, because if I remember it, it's gonna be stuck in my head too. What's the song that's stuck in your head, Gling? Sun? Oops. There must be a huge delay here. My RHCP. What's the song though? I'm trying to remember the song that was stuck in my head yesterday. And every time I would stop singing, I was like, damn it. I'd start singing it again. It's similar to mad cow disease, except it's deer. Yeah, and they are like deteriorated though, like down to the bone. But I don't think they move. I don't know if they move or not. I wonder if it's like super contagious. Oh, I don't know. We'll find out. But hopefully, I have a story for you guys this Saturday. It's either going to be most wanted or missing, and I'm leaning more toward missing, unless you guys would rather see stories about the most wanted. I'm gonna pick 3 or 4 high profile either missing cases or wanted cases. Some around and it may be passed on to humans. Right. See, they're exactly my point is even if there were some sort of zombie apocalyptic type event, it would never be like you would see in the movies because the very part of your brain that drives you to hunger would be dead. Like your urge to eat would just be gone. You would just walk around until you were nothing, which is sad. Do I ever write my own stories? Haven't you asked me that before? But yeah, I do. I did that for a long time when I first started too. They don't tend to do as well. I've noticed that when you write a story for your own channel and then you narrate it yourself, the only ones that did good were Girls' Night, and I did 3 of those, and I loved that. And then they starved to death, exactly, because they were vegetarian anyway. Um, somewhere around. But yeah, Girls' Night Part 1, 2, and 3, and then I have a bunch of old ones. And you know what? I really want to redo some of my old ones, just because when I first started, I was still learning like my own cadence, and I still phone, and I've learned so many since then. So to get to that, drownies, so no one is scared of them anymore. That would be hilarious. There's actually rabies exclusive to foxes. Oh, average cost. Oh, looks like it's trying to kick me off my own live stream. Trying to turn it. All right, so I'm gonna wrap it up before my cat actually just cuts it off, and I don't get to say goodbye. Sir Psycho Sexy. Had to look it up. Sir Psycho Sexy. Okay. On the ocean, not in it. Oh. That's cool. I'll have to look it up though. That sounds interesting. So I want to thank you guys. I hope I entertained you as much as you guys entertained me. I could feel myself fading. Like, I feel like I'm almost better. This is the most frustrating thing ever. I don't know. I know, like some people, like I wish I was sick. I wish I'd like to stay home. No, it's the worst thing ever when you can't do anything. Yep. So if you missed it, go back and listen because there's a few stories that were pretty good. And then like halfway into the Guys from Hell, we switched to Home Alone stories that were far better. So, and then I found paranormal stories I never did before, so that's cool. And what else was I going to say? I think I'm going to wrap it up before I don't make sense anymore. I want to thank you guys for coming, and I hope to see you guys Saturday for, I'm not sure if it's going to be missing or most wanted. I'm going to have to flip a coin because I literally cannot decide. I'm actually not sleepy. I'm just having a hard time. Like, it feels like my body's trying to suffocate itself. If that makes any sense. Anyways, thank you for coming, and I hope you guys don't get sick from this. If I cough in the microphone, make sure you wipe off your computer so it's not contagious through the speaker. Okay. All right. I'll see you guys Saturday. And that I want to say thank you so much for coming. And I want you guys to know that this isn't sarcastic. This is how we say it here. And so I want to say thank you. I love you. And bye. Bye. Bye.